You're listening to The Jacob Valk Show. He's breaking down the latest and greatest in sports as only he can. Follow him on Twitter at RealJacobValk. Here he is, Jacob Valk.
Hello, sports fans! Welcome to another New York Islanders episode of the Jacob Valk Show. I am Jacob Valk, and there are two things that I want to discuss today when it comes to my favorite hockey team. No, it is not how bad they look, although somehow the Hurricanes haven't exploded like I thought they would, so the Islanders, as it stands right now, are sitting pretty when it comes to being a playoff team, and once you get into the playoffs, I mean, a million things can happen, so look, I'm trying to be optimistic. I do think they're going to make the playoffs, but I don't see them getting past the Capitals. That's not the issue. The issue is that the Islanders are going to be playing all their games from April to until Belmont opens at the Nassau Coliseum. And this is something that every Islanders fan in the world should be happy about. I will say this, though. You have to give the Barclays Center credit for stepping up. There was a time when, if it wasn't for the Barclays Center, the Islanders would have moved out of New York. Whether it was Hartford, Kansas City, Quebec, wherever, Seattle, Vegas, wherever. If it wasn't for the Barclays Center stepping up and saying, play here, the Islanders would have moved somewhere else. So just give them credit for that. That's all I want. I understand that watching an Islanders game at Barclays Center is hell on earth. Alright, I get it. Getting there is a pain, especially when you're so used to driving there and being back at your house in 15, 30 minutes, depending on where you live. The Barclays Center never really accommodated the Islanders. You always got the sense that it wasn't home. You know, from the scoreboard being off center to the dark interior, it was always Nets first, Islanders second. And the fan base is going to notice that, and it's not going to like it. And the Barclays Center staff also did not do a good job of accommodating Islanders fans. It just seemed like they didn't get who their clientele was. The clientele for a basketball game is incredibly different from a hockey game. The simple fact is, there are more African Americans that go to basketball games than they do hockey games. And the vast majority of staff at the Barclays Center is African American. Now, I don't want to say outright that there was racism amongst the Barclays Center staff, but when you look at some of the things that they've done, you gotta shake your head. Why are you doing this? I remember when the Islanders first moved there, someone moved their seats to get a better view of the Jumbotron, and they were videotaping it because they paid for a message. The Barclays Center didn't like that. And when you go to a game at the Barclays Center, you can't bang on the glass. They will say something to you. When you go to a game at the Coliseum, No problem. I don't know what the reason for those things are. Is it racism? I don't know. What I do know is it was a marriage that was doomed from the start. The Barclays Center never really wanted the Islanders there. I'm sure they were okay with it for the first year or two, but very quickly they soured on it. Basically because no one went to the games. That's the thing that drives me nuts. Alright, if you're really a good fan, you will support your team no matter where they play. Alright? I'm a New York Jets fan. It takes me about 2 hours to get to MetLife Stadium. And I don't like MetLife Stadium. I haven't been to too many football stadiums, but MetLife Stadium, it's impossible to get from point A to point B unless you really know what you're doing. I was sitting on the 20-yard line, and my friends were sitting all the way up in the corner on the other side of the stadium. If you drew a diagonal line from my seat up into the corner on the opposite side of MetLife, you'd see my friends. And I walked there. It took me about, a half hour to see them and get back. It's hell to get from point A to point B at MetLife. It's easier to go down than it is to go up there. But the point is, Giants fans and Jets fans sell out MetLife Stadium every game. You know why? Because they're good fans. Islanders fans are not good fans. The fans from Suffolk County didn't show up. There were even a bunch of fans from Nassau County that didn't show up. Suck it up and support your team. Yeah, I understand it's a lot less convenient. And if you don't want to go to weeknight games, I get that. I understand that. I don't begrudge that. But the weekend games, the holiday games, the meaningful games, no. You show up to those no matter what. Quite frankly, I don't know how the Islanders are going to do at Belmont. You cannot say with confidence that the New York Islanders fans are going to sell out Belmont on a night-in, night-out basis. How on earth can the Suffolk County fans rationalize going to Belmont, which is right on the border of Nassau County and Queens, by the way? Don't make it seem like this is really Nassau County. It's right on the border. Like, it is literally right on the border. How can the Suffolk County fan justify going to Belmont but not the Barclays Center? If your point is you want to drive into the Barclays Center. I've done it multiple times. It's not that hard. Driving in for a weeknight game? Terrible. I get that. Driving out? Incredibly easy. Weekend games? It's a breeze. It shouldn't matter where your team plays. It shouldn't matter how hard it is to get there. I understand weeknight games. That's fine. I get that. But if you're a good fan, you'll go to the games no matter what. Shame on the Islander fans that just plain refuse to go to Barclays Center. If you want to do that now, fine. I understand that. They're playing at the Coliseum. But when the Islanders were just playing at the Barclays Center, the fact that they refused to go is sickening. And it proves to me that they are not good fans. But all in all, it's a great decision to play all your games at the Coliseum. It's a great decision to play all your games in one arena. Period. I don't care which one it is. Barclays, the Coliseum, Madison Square Garden, Webster Bank Arena, wherever. Good move by the Islanders, the NHL, and the state in getting this done. This should have been done a long, long, long time ago. It's unfortunate that they're not going to stay at the Coliseum for an extended period of time. There are a bunch of people to blame for that. It's not just the county, and it's not just Wong. There's enough blame to go around for everyone. Ultimately, I think the new Belmont Arena is going to be nice. I will go to those games a lot. Let's see how they do attendance-wise, and let's see how they do performance-wise. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how nice the arena is. If the team is garbage, the fans won't show up. And recently, this team has been playing like garbage. If they keep this up for an extended period of time, good luck selling out. That's all I'm going to say. As we all know, the Islanders retired Butch Goring's number on Saturday before getting slaughtered by his old team, the Boston Bruins. And it was a really nice ceremony. They did a very good job with it. I was there for Tonelli night. I was there for Goring Day. Very, very well done by the Islanders. But I want to focus on 5 other players that the Islanders should honor in some way, shape, or form. If you want to retire their numbers, fine. If you want to put them in the Islanders Hall of Fame, fine. Yes, there actually is an Islanders Hall of Fame. It's not a physical location. It's just a banner that hangs high over the Coliseum. So, I don't care which one you do. I just care that you do it. And I will start with one of the best defensive forwards that the Islanders have ever had, Brent Suter. Yes, he only won 2 cups. So if you just want to limit retired numbers to players that won 4 cups, I can sort of kind of respect that. But the Islanders should put Suter in at least the Islanders Hall of Fame. Hell, if you wanted to retire 21, I couldn't blame you. This guy was in the running for the Selke Trophy every year. He was the captain for a little bit. Every year for the Islanders, he put up about 60 points. Early on, he put up 40, but then he exploded onto the scene with 102. Then he bottomed out a little bit at 60, but Suter was a fantastic player, was also a really good coach. Brent Suter should be honored in some way, shape, or form by the Islanders. Pat LaFontaine is the next guy. And the Islanders and LaFontaine have some bad blood. What happened was, when Neil Smith was hired as Islanders GM, he brought on LaFontaine as, I think, a special advisor or something like that. And when Charles Wong stupidly fired Neil Smith because Smith didn't want to be Wong's puppet, LaFontaine resigned in protest. There were some rumors that said that LaFontaine was going to take over for Garth Snow. Obviously, those didn't materialize. But the Islanders had bad blood with John Tonelli. Lamoriello did a good job of working through that. He can work through the bad blood with LaFontaine. The Islanders need to honor LaFontaine. He was the best player on a bunch of Islanders teams. Stefan Persson was the second best defenseman on those 4 Stanley Cup winners. We all know that Potvin was the best. Stefan Persson was the second best. It wasn't Mike McEwen. It wasn't Thomas Janssen. It was Stefan Persson. The thing with Persson that you don't like is he didn't spend a lot of time with the Islanders. He was only there for 9 years, and then he went back to his native country of Sweden. But This guy was the second best defenseman on 4 Stanley Cup winning teams. I don't know what more you want from him. Put him in the Islanders Hall of Fame, at least. Or if you want to retire 7, I don't mind that. What are you saving it for? Trent Hunter? Pierre Turgeon and Ziggy Palffy are the final guys who should be honored in some way. The reason that I'm combining them is because they're very, very similar players. They were great Islanders. No question about that. And they should have been there a lot longer. But John Pickett was going through a lot of financial troubles in the mid-90s. He was looking to sell the team. And the Islanders were forced to trade Turgeon after just 4 years at the Coliseum. He was traded for a package that the centerpiece of it was Kirk Muller. Muller only played 27 games for the Islanders before he was given away to the Leafs because he was really unhappy here. The point is, though, Pierre Turgeon was an incredibly dominant Islander, and he should be honored in some way, shape, or form. When Turgeon left, Palffy really stepped up as the face of the team. Every year, with the exception of the 93-94 and 94-95 seasons, Palffy was a point-a-game player for the Islanders. The thing is, though, the Islanders, between John Pickett and Charles Wang and Sanjay Kumar, had 2 owners, Howard Milstein and Steven Gluckstern. They were terrible owners. They didn't put any money into the team. They tried to break the lease with SMG. Terrible, terrible owners. They put no money into the team at all. So Mike Milbury was forced to trade Ziggy Palffy. Now, Milbury gets criticized for that trade a lot. But he really shouldn't. Alright, I don't like Mike Milbury. Terrible, terrible GM for the Islanders. One of the worst GMs in sports history. No question. But don't blame him for the Palffy trade. Blame him for the Yashin trade and the Mark Parrish trade. You can't blame him for trading Palffy. Palffy had to be traded because the Islanders ownership did not want to pay him the money that he deserved. That's not on Milbury. He was just following ownership's orders. And he got, a decent-ish haul. Certainly not the haul that he should have, but he was put over a barrel. Only Jokinen only spent 1 year with the Islanders before he was traded in the Parrish deal. Josh Green only spent 1 year with the Islanders. Actually looked like he was going to be a decent player, but he was traded for Roman Hamrlik. That actually worked out, because Green got hurt right after that trade, and Hamrlik was a good defenseman for a long time for the Islanders. So in a weird way it worked out. Matthew Biron was a bust, and the Islanders also got a first-round pick that they used on Taylor Pyatt. Not a great use of that pick, but the Islanders traded Pyatt, along with Tim Connolly, to the Sabres for Michael Pekka. That trade worked out for the Islanders. My point is, don't blame Milbury for Palffy. Blame ownership. Those are the 5 guys that the Islanders should honor in some way, shape, or form. Lord knows I will be at those games if they choose to do it. The Jacob Valk Show will return tomorrow. Until then, I am Jacob Valk saying that the best qualification a baseball coach can have is to be the manager's drinking buddy.